Hey everyone, this is Semper.Reefing with another update. I didn't anticipate on uploading for a few weeks, but I felt like this one was needed, so I'll get right into it. You'll notice I removed the majority of my LPS out of the lagoon. This was part of a future plan of turning the lagoon into an SPS dominant tank, but I didn't anticipate on moving my LPS for a few more months, or at least until the 210 was able to safely keep them. Anyways, I bought a bottle of aquavitra fuel in hopes of encouraging some growth and coloration of my SPS. I bought it on June 14th and administered my first dose that night as directed by the instructions. I waited until Tuesday the following week to add the second dose. That next morning on Wednesday, I woke up to a very unhappy tank, mainly my Euphyllia and A cans, and my mushrooms were all very retracted. I did some troubleshooting. I manually tested my water 3 times with some Solifert tests I had and a Hannah checker for alkalinity, and all came back normal. Alkalinity 8.5, calcium 470, and magnesium 1400. Salinity 35 parts per thousand. The only thing that really changed in my routine was starting the aquavitra fuel dosing. I looked at the bottle and saw that it had an expiration date that dated back a few weeks to early June. I know some might think that since I just changed my rockscape, maybe that upset everything, but even after a few days of changing the rockscape, everything was back to normal and everything was happy. The only thing I could blame was dosing the expired fuel, and I'm by no means shitting on CChem, but I'm just noticing my observations, and I even reached out to them, and of course they recommend not dosing anything with an expired label, and I agree. And moving forward, I'm going to check the expiration on everything I buy. So long story short, I did a 50% water change and added some carbon to help mend some of the irritation. And long story short, that Thursday I just decided to move everything to the 210, everything being my Euphyllia and A cans, as well as my candy cane coral. And by that Friday, everything was open and looking happy and back to normal. And like I said, this was part of a long-term plan anyways, with turning the lagoon into an SPS dominant tank. I just didn't think it would happen this soon. After the fuel dosing, none of my SPS seemed to be affected, and moving forward, I don't plan on dosing anything aside from my 2-part, and I'll continue feeding twice a day and conducting bi-weekly water changes. As for the 210, everything's looking good so far. I've noticed a lot of coral growth, lots of coralline growth as well. I got some new dosing heads for my Neptune dose and started dosing alkalinity in conjunction with my Kalkwasser, and I've been maintaining an alkalinity of about 8 to 8.5. Aptasia continues to be a problem with both aquariums, and for this I plan on buying a few peppermint shrimp, and I'll add them to the sump of my 210 because there are some aptasia growing in the sump, and I can also feed them because there's aptasia growing on the crushed coral bed, and I can easily pick them up and put them in the sump. And by doing all this, I hope I can kind of encourage their appetite for aptasia before I add them to the lagoon or the 210. And might seem crazy, but to me it's worth a shot. Anyways, that's about it for now. I've hit a few bumps in the road, but I'm not deterred, and I'm excited for the future on both of these tanks. Despite what happened in the past few weeks, I'm going to do my best to keep up with a hands-off approach and let the tanks kind of just do their thing. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.